Good evening and welcome to Polyhedra Paradise. I have taken over control of the stream. Your stream belongs to me. My name is Griff the Dragonborn. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. This is the home stretch of D&D 2020 celebration. I'd like to first start off by saying thank you to everyone who has spent time with Jason and his special guests this weekend. It has been an absolute honor bringing you the most mediocre coverage of this most excellent Dungeons & Dragons event. We've had chickens. We've had trivia. We've had talk. And we've had good times and laughs. And I know he is most honored to have spent this time with you, especially as this joke has worn on. The third time now we have done this. So without further ado, I'd like to present to you the host of Polyhedra Paradise, Jason Preston.
Who was that guy? Okay, that's seriously the last time I'm going to do that, I promise. Danny Orange, what's up, buddy? Good evening. Oh my god, we're punch drunk over here. Whew. Like Mr. Dragonboard said, I'd like to welcome everybody to the home stretch of Polyhedra Paradise's cover of D&D Celebration 2020 weekend. We've got about 2 hours plus of coverage left, and then it'll be over. So, thank you all for coming back. Yeah, Paul, you ain't kidding. Delirium is set in. How many hours now? It's been quite a few. So, I'd like to announce first off that, regrettably, there is a little bit of change. This evening, we were planning on doing the live play, but on the break, I got a message from my boss, and I had to be in super early tomorrow, and it is super far away. So unfortunately, I am not, and it's on me. I am not going to be able to start playing at 10 o'clock and finish up at like 12, 1 o'clock. It's no longer going to work for me, so I apologize profusely to Danny, to Mike, to Captain Pennsylvania, and to my most illustrious, wonderful EP, Russell. But if anybody wants to come on and talk about their characters, we are going to reschedule the live play with that crew. A date when we can all come in fresh, because I'm just not going to be able to do it, because I'll be dead tomorrow. So that is the one regrettable thing we have to announce. So, but have no fear, we're going to finish strong, right? Right, Mr. Erden? Right, Danny? Right, anybody else who is in chat? So, speaking to everybody in chat, how are you guys this evening? It's this beautiful Sunday, and we're, like I said, we're heading into the home stretch. Thank you, everybody, for sticking it out with me this weekend. I promise we're going to finish mediocrely strong. But here's the thing. We are still going to give away these dice. Captain Pennsylvania says, I'm here just a little busy. It's fine. That's fine. I completely understand. Trust me. Mike Porter. Hey, Mike. Did you see my message on Discord, buddy? Again, my apologies. It's just, I mean, I hope you can understand. It's just not going to work out. God damn, that sucks. It really sucks. Really sucks. I really wanted to do that. Okay. But we're not going to dwell on it, right? We're not going to dwell on it. We're all adults here. Gray, I'm in and out. That's what he said. That's what he said. It's this time of night. It's 8:18. We can be a little raunchy if we want to. I think we're going to. Yeah, so we're going to give away these dice. These dice. After Trinity, what's up, buddy? Adam is ignoring me. Thanks for talking to me. You tell Adam I said only people like him cover the fucking Emmys. The Emmys, seriously. You tell him all YouTube says see ya. Seriously. He take his Twitch ass over to Twitch. You tell him I said that. I want him over here anyway. YouTube community can do without him. Seriously. For those of you who don't know, but seriously though, I love Adam. Adam released a wonderful video. I was hoping nobody would notice. Wells, thanks for pointing that out, buddy. It's meta. It's a library in a library. And right behind me is another library. Fine. Fine. We'll move. We'll go here, okay? Huh? Oh, wow. Newsflash. For anybody who's into the NFL, the report just came out that Saquon Barkley did, in fact, tear his ACL today. For anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, a sports ball team named the New York Giants. Oh, yeah, I was just kidding. Trinity, I wasn't. Screw it. I don't know where that came from. We repping YouTube over here. Twitch. Twitch is for gamers. Us boomers use YouTube. Sorry. Man. Come at me, Adam. Anyway, Saquon Barkley, running back for the New York Giants, has officially torn his ACL. Yep, Cap. Yep, that happened. Dude, so many people went down today. But we're not here to talk about sports ball. Even though I love the sport of football. No, we're here to talk about Dungeons & Dragons in the channel and giving things away and getting more viewers here. Obviously, I don't think we're going to hit the 100 subscribers over this weekend, but that's fine. That is fine. I didn't do it for that intent. You win some, you lose some, but channel notes, we're just going to get this out of the way. As if you guys aren't tired of seeing this already. Yeah, okay. Yeah, giving it away when we hit 100. And these dice we're going to be giving away in our thank you video. So if you've been here this weekend, if you've enjoyed what we've done, I'm Twitch, I prefer it. Danny, you too. Adam is a toxic man, baby, anyway. I know, and he's bald. I can't trust the bald man. Dritz says, who is Adam? Adam is a friend of ours. He runs a show called Fanjecture. No, we're really only fake flaming him. We really love him. Most of us do anyway. I think Trinity and him have like a hate-hate relationship going on. And to be quite honest, I was actually thinking about figuring out a way to stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. But I don't know a whole lot about Twitch. So it took me this long to figure out how to properly operate Streamlabs. And some people would say I still don't know how to properly operate Streamlabs, considering I just had a library within a library within a library. But, you know, hey, what are you going to do? So it is 8:22 now. We got the map of Icewind Dale up. We're going to leave that up while we're BSing talking about channel stuff. So raise your hand in chat if you've had fun this weekend. Listen to me be an idiot. Maybe, you know, tell me what your favorite part of the stream was. I'm learning Twitch at the moment. I got you. Yeah. Cap is, I am going to just make him be, hey, Lisa. What's good, lady? Cap's going to be my official, social media person. Because I suck at it. I, like, absolutely suck at it. Oh, Trent, I caught some of Nerd Therapy today when you had Stormy on. It was nice getting somebody from another country's perspective. I didn't realize you were going today on Nerd Therapy. Hit a brother up, by the way. I don't mind therapizing, you know? I don't mind it. By the way, I dig what you got going on with your facial hair. We should get together sometime and talk about keto. I'm a big fan of keto. Captain Pennsylvania? Agree. All right. Sorry, where was I? Stormy is a good man. Was a good man. Cap Stormy was a good man. You make it sound like the man's dead. Stormy was a good man. He was a good man. He had a good heart. He was from Europe. All right. Let's try to move this here. You'll be able to see. All right, that's cool. I'll let you know though. Like I have this persona that I'm like really nice. I don't say mean things. I don't like go off the deep end. That's not always the case. So it may get a little rough if you have me on. But anyway, we're not here to worry about that right now. All right, so tonight I did not get in there. Yeah, I got it late. So let's take a look real quick at the schedule because like we're winding down, coming through the home stretch, busting the ribbon. Fumbling towards ecstasy. Thank you very much, Sarah McLaughlin, in the arms of an angel. Right now, Knights of Evening Star is on. Cap, I think you would like these people. Your Alabaster Doll's not there, but somebody who is a close second's on there. DM Mark Sherlock Holmes, Hulms. Players Anna Prosser, Micah Barton, Nate Sharp, and Jonathan Indavio. So we're going to go take a look at them. We're going to BS a little bit during that panel. That is over at 9, which is about a half hour from now. And then we're going to watch Inside the D&D Studio, which is going to be the final panel of the evening. We'll take final questions, final remarks, closing arguments, and then we're done. Some bitch, where is she? Evening Star is pretty good. I like Evening Star. Evening Star, and there's one other ones are some of the few that I can actually watch. I've made no bones about my inability to watch other people play D&D, mostly because I think I'm better than everybody. So that's not true. I don't think that at all. It's just hard for me to watch. It really is. It's hard for me to play, but that's just because I'm not very good at it. But anyway, so we're gonna switch to Evening Star. Lisa, if you like Evening Star, I'll try not to talk over it too much, but sometimes I'm probably going to. So let's go. Let's take a watch here.
Snow begins to flurry and build, and the weather.
So they're still playing Icewind Dale. So guys, let me in chat. Let me know how the audio is. I'm not gonna blow them out of the water. I'm just gonna turn the music down here. So if you're just joining us, the live play event that we had planned for tonight got postponed because my work schedule changed for tomorrow. It's a big mea culpa to everybody who was going to be involved and everybody who was coming to see that. So we are going to end the stream shortly after 10 because I can't push it to 12 tonight. I was initially supposed to not have to be up until about 7, and now I have to be up at 5. It changes things. So the life of an actual carpenter. So right now, Knights of Evening Star are playing through Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, which we've been talking about all weekend. Who is tired of hearing me say Rime of the Frost Maiden? Don't be afraid to say it in chat. Who is tired of hearing me say it? It's fine. I don't mind.
Same.
Yeah.
How meta would we get if we just all of a sudden just went and watched Fanjecture on Twitch while we were streaming on YouTube? And how would everybody love that?
Venethia just grabs the girl and pulls her to her. Duvessa, what are you doing? What is this? She must
Sorry.
be sacrificed.
Monday game's still on. Yes.
Sorry, you know I would not do this if it was not necessary.
I have to finish fixing a garbage disposal as soon as I get home. So we may have to push Monday's game till 7. But if you think I could not play Monday's game after the situation that we're all in, you need to sing a little ditty about it. About what? What do you want me to... Give me a topic. I'll sing about it. Fine, we'll do that. We'll go straight karaoke. I'll ham it up for the next half hour. 45 minutes. Yeah, Monday's game is still on, though, Lise. Definitely still on.
Nor will I give up this one.
And they said the goddess will show up.
I mean, you guys are burnt. It's like the beginning of chapter 2 for you guys. You know?
Please, we must sacrifice her now.
There's your other redhead cap, Anna Prosser.
And gather strength.
And your propensity, like, she reminded you of Jean Grey a little bit. Who else is a fan of Jean Grey?
Last chance,
There's
please.
Logan, and
Is
then
there
there
any
was
kind of,
somebody
like,
else. If
vibes
you can
I'm
think
giving
about it,
off
just let me know.
goddess Magic? Can I like Arcana
Let me
check
know.
to see if this is like indeed goddess magic or it feels like something else?
Yeah, give me an Arcana check. Marcel, you begin to hear in the
If
story
I
of
could be king of the forest.
18.
18.
I am not gonna sing.
Both Azara and
Oh my
Marcel,
goodness,
the
I'm
weapon-
running back and forth. Schitt's Creek is winning everything.
You both get the same kind of
Mike,
vibe.
you tell
This
Adam.
is pretty strong
I
magic.
said-
It isn't, you're not sure if it's god magic. This is
I don't know. Make it up.
powerful magic.
Just
So
make it
using
up
the
and make it
control of the spell, but to a magnified
how do I wanna
degree,
put it?
right? This is like
Make it
leveled up
angry,
version of it.
and you tell
It's
him
happening
I
so
said that I don't
quickly.
need him anymore in my
But
life.
It takes time for this spell to generate the power to change.
You
the
tell
world,
him I
but
said
this
that.
is happening, like, at a drop
I've
of
never
a
seen Schitt's Creek.
one of
I
the
feel
guards
dirty for having
lunges
said that.
towards this tiefling girl with a blade, and your Venethia just parries it to the
So listen,
side,
if you've had
and
fun this
shoots
weekend, you're
falling
interested,
back, and then
I'm going to
so
post a thank you video shortly after I get
activate
online tonight. And in that thank you
more of your
video,
powers
if you
taken away
leave
from both of
a comment and
Yeah,
something
and
that you
assuming
enjoyed
the
about
power
this
has
weekend,
gone
something
by
that you
since
hated
I've
about
been
this
by fire
weekend,
spirit,
whatever you
or
say, you're automatically
summon
going to be
anything and
entered
stand in front,
into
like,
win
menacing.
Yeah,
the
you can see the crowd is
uh,
like now like gathering
game
around you
used
and they're like,
dice.
"Please
I'll use
don't
them Monday, so
understand.
they're still
It'll be
officially
worse
game
if we
used,
don't.
okay?
We don't want to do it, but we have to. Please.
yeah.
And it's like all these voices calling out to you.
And I
but
really,
then just
really
one
can't thank you guys
sudden
enough for coming and hanging out this weekend.
Gale blows through.
It's
Doors
been a
slam
blast.
Open. The snow almost blinds you as it surrounds you, and you just hear this voice.
So if I remember correctly, Anna Prosser and Mika Barton hosted the the thing earlier about 2 months ago for Dungeons and Dragons. At the time, I didn't know who they were. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it would be like before this year. I had kind of taken a break from Dungeons and Dragons, just because life happens, and I didn't realize how much of an online presence Dungeons and Dragons had, and like I didn't realize that this stuff existed. But now, like I want to. Thank you, Wells. Icewind Dale, hard copy on sale at Amazon, only $29.97, usually $49.95. That is correct.
7 feet tall. You can see a creature like a biped.
I don't want anybody and any of my D&D groups to go purchase it because I have a feeling I'm going to be adding in elements from Icewind Dale into some of the adventures. So if you buy it and you read it, forget you ever read it. The only people I trust to do that would be Wells and Lisa, maybe Gray. Basically, Cap, I don't,
I keep forgetting that.
Is she?
Reminds me of, like,
Get out of here,
Final
Lisa.
14 when you're in cutscenes and everybody's in like bikinis or frog suits.
Lisa just said Micah Burton is LeVar Burton's daughter.
7.
I had no idea.
14.
Lisa, you should be hosting this show. Why don't you have a show? You're so much
Roll
smarter
crit
than
with
me.
24.
But they always say, like,
Damn.
smart people surround themselves with people who are more stupid than them. But brilliant people fool don't get fooled again. I think that was the statement. No, but brilliant people surround themselves with people smarter than them. Hand to God. Hand to the Frost Maiden. All right, I believe you. Already bought. Wells already bought it.
This figure just rushing towards you, this monstrous form.
Just single me out, huh? Because Cap, I don't trust you to be able to separate
I'm
what
muted.
you know
How
versus
far
what
away
Bronan
is
knows.
this?
You know?
DD?
I would say at this point probably 60 feet.
I'm just saying.
Okay,
I
cool.
just.
I'm gonna. That's
it's
the range
just
of my
cold
kiss
hard
silver,
facts,
so I'm
bro.
gonna just unsheath my dagger and toss
I mean,
it
I love you,
towards the
but
goddess.
every man's got to know his
Give
limitations.
me
You
an
know?
attack roll.
17 plus
Mike, if you're
7,
still in
20.
here, tell Adam
Max
something,
hits, yeah.
and let me know what he says. Because apparently, like right now, we're
Strike
competing
hits
against each other for
body.
views.
Cool. So
Nobody
1d4
cares
plus
about the
4, and
Emmys.
then all the sneak attack. And well, yeah, I get assassination because I went before.
You get sneak
I have a
attack,
feeling
but not
Trinity went over
assassination,
there,
it's
too.
not Surprised. It knows that you are there. But you do get
Gotcha.
sneak attack because you have advantage technically. on
So,
it.
Dritch, you still haven't told me. What kind of ditty would you like me to sing? As you can tell, my attire has devolved through this whole stream. Like now, I'm just like wearing a gray
13,
T-shirt with my jerkin over
17,
top of it, and like
36, that's it. So 17
completely abandoned
17
the
damage, but that includes
the
initial
fancy
six
shirt.
you did, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start the next
Weak roll.
So the dagger kind of thumps in, and then you summon it back to your hand with a flick of the wrist as the magic pulls it into the kind of silvery mist form. But the creature does not slow down as it darts towards you, kind of rushing forward. Do you want to use any movement or a bonus action?
So one of the things I was looking for,
I think
apparently
I'm
they
just
have a
going
list of new
to,
familiars that you can have that's coming
take
out
a
with
bonus action to
with
just
Tasha's
dash
Cauldron and
kind of
everything.
back
And
away.
it may have been
This time it's
clickbait,
rushing for me.
Yeah,
but they showed
the
a
creature
gelatinous
dashes
cube,
forward,
a mini gelatinous
almost you
cube
see
as
the
a
cloak of snow
familiar
becomes a pair of
that you can
giant
have.
wings temporarily, and it
And I
flies
thought, how
forward
funny.
60 feet.
Rolling around with a
It
gelatinous
looks
cube
dead in the
familiar.
direction all of you gathered, sees Vanathia.
I know that would
raises
that would
a
that would be
taloned
rather
claw,
interesting.
And you watch as Vanassis looks up for a moment, and
But
then
I've yet to
her
find
form
that.
seems to be sucked
Sing with me,
into the
Thorn.
air, and a tiny
Far over the
shaft
misty
hangs in place,
mountains
and you can
cold.
see the silhouette of somebody banging on it, holding the girl.
Ah,
Goblin with
I
her,
want
like,
used
banging
to
on the
seeing a
shaft.
shanty about the
Vanassis
rhyme
just
of the
seems
Frost
to
Maiden.
be caught up in this
You, I,
fancy
yeah, I
business.
do. I've got fancy. I have the
but then
fancy little corgi. Oh, what happened? Lose the internet, or you still have me on the stream, right? I just kind of lost the connection, lost their live stream, or did I lose everybody?
creature.
Oh no, we're. Oh, it's them.
Like a really cool.
Oh, it's all them.
spin
Yeah,
of
I
the
have fancy
staff.
corgis.
And you know what? We'll just cast Fireball at the.
They're
Wait, how
absolutely
close is she?
adorable.
She
All right,
is
you know
now
what?
30
I'll sing you the rhyme of the Frost Maiden.
Cool. I have two fourth.
It's in the
level
back of the
spell
book.
slots, so let's just do the fourth level.
Okay. So reflex save.
we'll
dex
get
save,
there.
I should say, on my part.
Dex of 14.
All right.
14. That is a 16. So
All
you see
right,
this
here we
thing
go.
fly
I'm gonna
up into the
let's
air
do this
for you,
here.
summon the
It's
blast.
still
It's gonna take half.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I'm just
Okay.
gonna roll it here. 'cause
Cap
that-
says he's
that's a
color
lot
me
of-
bad.
that's a lot of dice.
It's a lot of dice.
All right, let's see.
D&D Beyond will do that.
Oh,
Half of
you still
30
got
is
that audio
14
there.
points
Okay,
of
so
fire
oh,
damage.
Points of
that's
damage. The fire, you
celebration.
would hope in a way that the fire would
All right,
have some sort of
just hiccup,
effect against the
just a
creature.
hiccup. Yeah, it was just a hiccup on their
You
stream.
definitely
Okay, thank you,
damage
Lise.
them.
Appreciate it.
See that parts of their fur and their talons are singed
All
by
right,
the
so let's
fire.
pause this.
Flame is nothing.
I'm gonna drop this down. All right, let me know if you can still hear me, but not the D&D stream, because y'all's about to get treated to some melodious incantations. First of all, Cap wants me to sing some Color Me Bad. Ooh. Yeah, okay. 82 subs. Okay. So this is the rhyme of the Frost Maiden. We bow to she who wears the crown, let the world shiver with dread. Clad in winter whilst ground her snow enshrouds the dead. Her fury sheds but frozen tears as grey clouds issue forth. Her wind across the wasteland shears, bringing blizzards from the north. Ice-kissed flowers caught mid-bloom, beauty kept in its grace. Summer's gone to silent tubes, still holding her cold embrace. All the world's in winter's white and sheathed in sleet and ice, and set upon never-ending sight she conjures paradise. Behold her everlasting rhymes and see how it covers all. Weep not for those she traps in time behind her glacier wall. Sovereign of summer's lost, general of winter's war, long live the queen of cold and frost, may she reign forevermore. Hey! Thank you. I promise you guys, I will never do that again. That shit came off top of my fucking head, y'all. Off top of my head, y'all.
So that damage.
Not what I was looking for, but impressive. Thanks, Cap.
With the Frost Maiden dice on D&D Beyond.
I appreciate it.
Cheeky plug-in.
You can sing Where's Padme.
Dealing 6 damage.
Okay, here we go.
And then
This here,
the second
I don't know if anybody's seen a little movie called Episode 3.
is a 16
Uh,
to hit.
it was a Star Wars movie.
16 still hits. Yeah, this thing is
Okay, cool.
huge and it isn't wearing any.
Long time ago, we thought about making a metal album, Paul and I, about totally Star Wars theme songs. And there was a song we were gonna do, and it was gonna be called "Where Is Padme," and it was just Vader up there. Where is Padme? She can't be dead. Where is Padme? She was alive. No, and then the drums would kick in. But she didn't know you was gonna get treated to some music tonight, did you? Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna do that again either.
Cheek and one of the
Sorry.
horns, and the horn kind of
And
comes up and turns
80
like snow
subs.
as it hits the ground.
No.
And for a
Thanks, guys,
moment,
for hanging out. I
the
appreciate it.
blizzard and the cold
I
weather
can see you as
stops.
Chino.
It's still freezing cold, but that
Who's Chino?
blizzard
Was he a
begins to
member of
calm
Color Me
down,
Bad?
almost as if the spell
I don't know who
has been
Chino
sort of
is.
interrupted or temporarily
Oh my goodness. All right, 8:39 on a Sunday night. We presumptively are watching evening Nights of Evening Star. My face is right in front of Mika Burton,
legendary action.
who I just found out is LeVar Burton's daughter.
You,
So there we go. She's there.
this one will
That's
be
interesting. LeVar Burton. He was in
Touch of Frost.
that
Two legendary
Reading Rainbow,
actions. That is a
right?
21
Reading Rainbow.
hit you.
That was about it.
Yes.
Deftones. I don't know. Oh yeah. Okay. Chino. No. I got you. I didn't. I forgot about the Deftones.
15 points of cold damage.
I was not a big
You
Deftones
cannot
fan.
take reactions until the start of your next turn, as this ice and rime.
Yeah.
floats over your
So listen,
body,
I have
movements,
some
your
fun
body
news for
moves
anybody who
through
knows about
actions.
my history with camping. I have a feeling that the camping may be revived at some point in November.
She is.
So maybe doing some LARP camping. If so, I'm gonna take. Hey,
That just sucks.
our friendship is done. Well, thanks, Cap. That's all it took.
Don't want her to be.
Take a look.
You can
It's in
disengage,
a
take action,
book.
disengage,
Reading
focus
Rainbow.
focuses on Marcel.
Damn, I got a smooth voice. Sorry. I know this stream is like taking a complete left
Go do your
turn.
thing.
Camera left.
Yeah,
So
all right.
sorry, I'm gonna scratch my leg. So Nights of Evening Star. We've got Mark Holmes, Dungeon Master, Anna Prosser
Okay.
as Agnes Crown Silver,
Yeah, so
Micah
all
Burton.
sense
Am I saying that right? It's
of
Micah, right?
fiery scimitar,
As Azara Mithras,
appears in my hand.
Nate Sharp as Marcel, and Jonathan Indavo as Tarkhal Crown
And
Silver.
then I'm going to make a melee spell attack.
Yeah. Cap says me and Deftones are one. Cap, I didn't picture you for a
And
Deftones
that
fan.
will-
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just didn't picture it.
I got a 12.
It's all good though.
Just barely misses this thing. As you strike out, it seems to
Let's see, did I miss
sense
anything?
this oncoming heat and dodges to the side as the flame
Okay,
scimitar burns through the
so
air, sizzling snow and ice as it does so.
Hmm.
Anything
That's
else?
all I can
Let's
do.
take a listen to this for a
I
little
just-
bit to see
I-
what some
I
professional
hold it
D&Ders
menacingly in my
do.
reindeer fluff suit.
You are. That is very true. I think at the end of the round, you hear desperate.
Everybody staying hydrated.
As, Bunny
Green Day was okay.
Aaron
I like
dives
Green Day's
to
early
the
stuff,
nearest,
like 39 Smooth,
barrels, and
everything
basically
before Dookie.
hides behind them. It's
But
just
after
like,
Dookie, they were just so,
he just dives behind them temporarily.
you know.
Valid.
Tarkle.
Let's see, and what was I
so
saying?
Can I use a bonus action?
So everybody stay hydrated this weekend. Everybody make sure they have plenty to drink,
There's, like, all sorts of
plenty to
streams
eat.
buildings
Everybody
around. Yeah,
doing okay? I got my Gatorade here.
So I'm gonna try to hide,
last little bit of
then
blue
I'm gonna try
Gatorade.
to throw my dagger at this lady again.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find some stuff here while we're watching.
So
Once
as
again,
you
we're
are
watching
moving
Nights
around,
of
you're
Evening
gonna-
Star.
I'm not gonna make you make the check because you don't realize this before you
I love
make the
Dookie.
attack.
Yeah, Duke. Oh,
This thing seems
that went wild.
supernaturally aware of you, as if it knows where any of these attacks potentially are coming from. So yeah, unfortunately, you do not. This is not surprise.
see. I'm sorry, I'm looking for something. Oh, that just.
Angrily.
Yeah, you will still get sneak attack because you have an ally within 5 feet.
Sorry, guys.
Yes, which is dope.
Oh yeah.
19
Oh
plus
shucks. Sorry,
37,
Wells.
so
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that will hit. The kiss of silver flashes through.
Of
the
course
air.
I can.
Thankfully, thanks to Marcel's attack, the wind has died down. Otherwise, this attack would have been at disadvantage from the heavy winds
Alright.
blowing. But
Okay.
Marcel actually disrupted whatever was controlling the weather to an intense effect. So, kiss of silver strikes true. Through the air.
Nice. So I rolled a 4 on the d4, so that's 8 plus 4, 12 plus 3, 15 plus 2, 17 plus 2, 19.
17 points. Yep. The dagger
All
thumps
right.
into the
I
creature's
can't find
shoulder.
it.
Again,
Okay.
you hear this kind of shrieking wind and howling ice.
No,
Ice
to be honest with you, I didn't realize it was still. I became like I've just become tone deaf to it over the whole weekend. I didn't even notice it. Yeah, there's an awful lot going on.
Is that the end of your turn, Tarkle?
I'll just like use my movement to. Well, I guess I use my movement to hide technically. Never mind. I'll stop.
Okay, sure. On its turn, on her turn, I should say, Aurel will raise these taloned hands to the sky.
Oh, I want to listen to this. They're
Around
fighting
her
RL.
Summons an ice storm. So I would
Oh
like
my
for
goodness.
Marcel, Azara, Agnes, to all make. I believe that this is dexterity saving throws, please.
17.
17,
14.
14.
21.
21. Agnes is the only one that passes.
Oh,
Like a reindeer, I leap.
You just managed to get out of the way. So half as much damage to this. So you're going to take half damage, Arni, as you do so. But these huge chunks of hail and ice begin throwing
That
down
thing
from the
sounds
sky
serious.
around Aurel, who seems completely unfazed by this as it does so. So that is going to be not very high on that. None of you have like resistance to cold, do you? So I can just add all of this together.
No.
I feel like I should as a fire druid, but no.
20 points of cold and bludgeoning
Yikes.
damage.
Oof.
For Agnes.
20
Again.
points.
So, and it leaves these huge chunks of ice around in a 20-foot radius, just on the edges of where Tarkle and Alyssa have been thrown. Like, you guys are just on the outskirts of this radius.
yikes!
But
Ouch.
yeah, the rest of you are bombarded by falling ice and hail that forms this difficult area around you. And then it just turns, hunching its shoulders, bringing these talons to bear. And that is the end of its turn. Alyssa will stand up and charge at the thing. In fact, actually, yeah, it will charge into...
Mike Porter says, I told Adam that you were super mad at him for streaming the Schitt's Creek show while you had a small crowd here at the D&D table.
The greatsword doesn't seem to have as much effect.
He didn't care, did he? He just blew it off.
10,
All those Twitchers, they're all uppity.
And then she will actually
Yeah,
shove
their
you back,
nose in the air.
so that you're not within melee range.
All right, let's see. I'm looking for
Shoves you
something
back and then
here.
towards the blade. You can see that she's like bleeding from like part of her jaw. One of her arms is kind of hanging a bit
Right now,
loose from the blow that she took.
so
But otherwise, Azara, your turn.
I'm looking to see if I can find, in case you guys are wondering what I'm doing and what I'm looking for. In the Adventurers League rules, they kind of give us a preview of how they're going to handle the racial benefits and racial traits. It gives you rules for swapping out
I did roll one,
the
though. What's
the
total
racial
DC?
bonuses. So I'm see if I can find it,
Charisma
and we can talk about it a little bit
thing
before we get into the last panel.
is
So
still actually quite high. This is actually still very high. 8 plus 9 is 17.
oh, okay, I found it.
Alright, well, since that didn't work, I will just...
Okay.
Now I have a second cantrip. I'm going to...
All right, you guys want to finish listening to this encounter with Aurel, or do you guys want to go over the new way you're going to be able to work around your racial ability score increases and stuff? Let me know in chat what you guys want to do.
That is 5 plus 4, 9, unfortunately.
9 points.
Of fire damage.
The fire kind of spreads over her fur, burning away parts of the cloak that's formed the wings. You can see that this form is now hunched. You can see kind of almost whimpering almost as it's been hurt. At the end of your turn, it's going to make a talon attack against Agnes. Azara, that is a 21 to hit Agnes.
Yeah, that hits.
Boy, it does. 7 for 10 points of damage total as these claws, these talons rake across you, kind of sending you sprawling.
That's pretty
to the
harsh.
side. But then Marcel.
Yep. I'm gonna take another 2.
No, he was more mad that I called the Emmys the Schitt's Creek show. He didn't even notice the Jason Superman comment. Well, you know, yeah, that's just a little bit of a shame, but whatever. All right, I'm gonna go over this because I think it's super important and it gives us a super. Oh, uh-oh.
The second roll was a 17 total.
Dun-dun.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm gonna watch Evening Star later, so I don't mind talking about the new rules. Watching these live plays are rough, man.
Dealing 14.
Okay, watching these live plays are rough. I'm here for your commentary and hearing any new info you can share with us. Okay, fine. So let's do that. I'm gonna cut the audio for Night's the Evening Star. Yeah, it's tough for me too. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so in here we've got the new Adventurers League rules for Season 10. Okay, and we scroll down and we take a look at Appendix 1, customizing. I agree with the woo. Yeah. So customizing your origin in D&D. So we come down to ability score increases. Okay. So I don't know how well you can see it. Probably not really well, but I'll read it to you. So ability score increases. Whatever D&D race you choose for your character, you get a trait called an ability score increase, shortened as ASI. That's what we refer to as ASI. This increase reflects an archetypical bit of excellence, the adventure of this kind in D&D's past. For example, okay, so for example, if you're a dwarf, your constitution increases by 2, because the dwarf heroes in D&D are often exceptionally tough. This increase doesn't apply to every dwarf, just to dwarf adventurers, and it exists to reinforce an archetype. That reinforcement is appropriate if you want to lean into the archetype, but it's unhelpful if your character doesn't conform to that archetype. You know what? Let's do this. Let's get. Oh, I don't want to go to the library because you made fun of for having the library in the library. We'll stay here. Okay. If you'd like your character to follow their own path, you may ignore your ASI increase trait and assign an ability score increase tailored to your character. Here's how to do it. Take any ability score increase you gain in your race or subrace and apply it to an ability score of your choice. Basically, it uncouples your ASI from your race. So it doesn't matter what race you pick. You can put your ASI wherever you want it, which is different past, where like before you would pick your race based on sort of where you would get your ASI, because then that would benefit you in the long run. All I did was ask about it. I didn't make fun of you, man. I didn't say you made fun of me.
15 points of damage total.
Okay, worth it.
I didn't say you made fun of me. So let's see. Here's how to do it. For example, if the ability score increased trait of your race or subrace increases your constitution by 2 and your wisdom by 1, you can instead increase your intelligence by 2 and your charisma by 1. So you just put it wherever you want. So changes in languages. Your character's race includes languages that your character is assumed to know, usually common, and the language of your ancestors. For example, a halfling adventurer is assumed to know common and halfling. Here's the thing. D&D adventures are extraordinary, and your character might have grown up speaking languages different from the ones in your languages trait. To customize your languages you know, you may replace each language in your languages trait with a language from the following list. And it lists the common ones. Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Deep Speech, Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, Gnomish, Goblin, Halfling, Infernal, Orc, Primordial, Sylvan, or Undercommon. Your DM also may add or remove languages from that list, depending on what languages are appropriate for your campaign. So basically it uncouples that too. You can learn whatever languages you want. It doesn't have to be, you know, if you're a halfling, say you're a halfling and you speak common, but as a halfling you grew up in an elvish community and never learned how to speak halfling, then you could be a halfling that speaks common and elvish. If you're a halfling that spent time living in an orc community, you would speak common and orcish. You can see how that works. So it doesn't assume that just because you're a halfling or just because you're a gnome or just because you're a dwarf that you speak dwarf and stuff. You could have grown up someplace else. You could have been a dwarf that grew up in a goblin community and speak goblin and common. So I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't, and I also don't think it's like something to rail against, like some people say. So proficiencies. Some races and sub-races grant skill, weapon, or tool proficiencies. These proficiencies are usually cultural, but your character might not have any connection to the culture in question or might have pursued different training. You can replace each of those proficiencies with a different one shown in the proficiency table. Cap? Yes, you can. Definitely can't be a halfling barbarian. For those who doesn't know, Captain Pennsylvania is way against halfling barbarians. He's a sizist, pretty much. So some races, sub-races. Okay. So you can swap a skill for any other skill. You can swap a simple weapon C proficiency for a simple weapon or a tool. You can swap a martial weapon for a simple weapon, a martial weapon, or a tool proficiency. Yeah, I know. I'm about to take his wrench and then hit him over the head with it. And you can swap a tool proficiency for a tool or a single weapon. So you could really load up on tool proficiencies if you want. Weapon proficiencies. You could take, if you had some sort of martial weapon proficiencies, you could swap them out and end up with like a boatload of tool proficiencies. So you could really bump up your intelligence and then bump up the tool proficiencies and make yourself a tool monkey if you want. It really makes things. It's not a thing, but they are halflings. They are halflings. For example, high elf adventurers have proficiency with long swords, which are martial weapons. Consulting the proficiency swaps table, we see that your high elf can swap out that proficiency for proficiency with other weapons or a tool. Your elf might be a musician who chooses proficiency with a musical instrument, a type of tool, instead of a longsword. Similarly, elves start with proficiency in the perception skill. Your elf might not have the keen senses associated with your kin and could take proficiency in a different skill, such as performance. Lisa says, remind me to tell you about Athasian halflings, Cap. Like Atheda? Yeah, the equipment chapter of the PHB includes weapons and tools suitable for these swaps, and your DM might allow additional options. Personalities. Okay, the description of race might suggest various things about your behavior and personality of the people's archetypal adventures. You may ignore those suggestions, whether about alignment, mods, interest, or any other personality traits. Your character's personality and behavior are entirely yours to determine. So basically, the world now is your oyster. They basically codified the way that a lot of players have played for a long time, where sort of anything goes. And before you just talk to your DM, I kind of want to do this, I want to have these tools, and like they would allow you to do it. But now with the Adventures League rules changing as such, and I think this is like a preview of what we're going to see in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, they've basically given permission for people to be even more creative, where some players found the rules in the PHB a little restrictive when it comes to race. I mean, no longer you're basically almost choosing a race now as a skin for whatever character you want to create, rather than choosing a race based on the proficiencies it gets and the bonuses it gets. So race more or less now is window dressing. Yeah, so I mean that's. Let me know what you guys think about that. Are you excited to uncouple? Are you happy to uncouple the restrictions from race that you get, or do you prefer it a little more restrictive? Like, oh, I want to be a wizard, but I want to choose a race that is real good with arcane magic, that has an intelligence buff. So obviously, I'm not going to pick an orc or a half orc because they've got negatives in intelligence. Like, or do you prefer it like that, or you prefer it like wide open? In some ways, I like it like this because nothing exists in a vacuum. Like, you could have an elf that's clumsy. You could have an orc that's super intelligent. I like it. I think it's great. And I don't think a lot of times we tend to think anytime something is changed like this that there's negative connotations to it or people are doing it for the wrong reasons. But I think it opens up the world, and I like it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. So Lisa says I think it's a good move. I 100% agree. And I also don't think it's as big of a deal as some people want to make it out to be. Like, I've seen the chatter where people complain, and we're not going to get into all that, but I think those people are being a little overreactive, personally. So, all right, so Knights of Evening Star is over. So that's going to bring up our last panel for D&D Celebration 2020. Cap, Jason, let's shoot lightning. Cap, Jason, let you shoot lightning from your eyes when Dragonborns have breath weapons. So tell me again why there can't be halfling barbarians. Thank you very much. See? I let you change your breath weapon to eye lasers, Cap. Because why not? And you're sitting here talking about a halfling can't be a barbarian. Shame on you. Everybody, check out Extra Life for apparel that benefits Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I know halfling. Damn, autocorrect hates halflings as much as I do. This is a no halfling hate stream. So we got about an hour left to go in this wonderful D&D celebration weekend. I'm your host, Jason, with Polyhedra Paradise. Okay, let's listen to Ellie Oscillywood. Oh, you can probably bury here. I'll turn it up a little bit.
But you know what they say about saving the best for last. And I'm pretty thrilled to reveal that we will be talking about the future of D&D in today's panel.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I really want to pay attention to this. So if I don't talk too much during this, you're going to have to excuse me.
For today's panel, we have Liz Shue and Ray Winninger.
Not exactly who I expected to see on the last panel of the day.
I can't wait to get started.
Hi, Elle. It's great to be here with you today.
Indeed. Good evening, Elle.
So, yes, good evening. It's very late here, but if there was one panel that was going to keep me up, it's this one. I feel like I've been given an hour to ask everything I've ever wanted to ask about D&D, so I'm raring to get started.
Well, we will do our best to give you all the info.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. And I'm going to start off by, I think, getting you both to introduce yourselves, because one of the things that people always ask is, how do you get into D&D? What do you do there? So, Liz, I'll start off with you. Give us a little
I'd like to work for them.
What you do at D&D.
Maybe not.
Sure. Well, I'm the director of product management for Dungeons and Dragons. So that basically means I get
With
to
those
talk about
Red
all
Beats
of the cool
headphones.
products that we're doing, both when they're first in their very early conceptions.
That's where I think we're going to get some information on
and becoming real products.
Tasha's Cauldron and everything.
Introduce those products to our trade partners so that they can go out and sell them, and then get to work on helping to launch them into the marketplace and deliver them to our fans. So it's kind of the best of all worlds. I get to touch the products from start to finish.
And Ray, how about you?
I'm the executive producer in the D&D studio, so that means I'm responsible for the whole team overall. I'm responsible for the D&D business, and more specifically, I think the best way to describe it is my position. I'm sort of a bridge between the creative elements of the team that produce the products and the business elements, the people who figure out, people like Liz, who figure out, how best
he's the honcho.
bring them to market, how best to sell them. And as an old D&D designer myself, an old school D&D designer, I can't help myself. I sometimes get involved in doing a little bit of the design on the products as well.
I'll bet the people down on the floor below love it when he comes down and gives design ideas.
I'm really jealous, almost immediately.
It is a great honor to be able to do this.
I mean, and this is the thing, what a year as well to be working at D&D. As we've seen this weekend, as we've seen over 2020, it's a really huge year for Dungeons and Dragons. So what has it been like behind
Man, I can't wait to see
Ray,
how D&D takes off after this whole year of quarantine and people playing online. I mean, the numbers have to have gone through the roof.
Meeting all these super talented people and getting to work alongside them, people like Liz, our creative staff, people like Chris Perkins, Jeremy Crawford, our art director, Kate Irwin, Richard Wiggins.
How does everybody feel about Chris Perkins?
It's been that. It's been, kind of becoming part of the D&D family again after so long. But then I think for me, the main story this year has been
what I say? Are you laughing at me?
I love the fans of this game has just been so reinforced. Obviously, this has been a tough year for all of us.
No.
And, the D&D fans have stepped up in a big way. I've seen D&D fans come through, do a lot of great things for charity.
Paul, you still up? That's crazy. Thank you for hanging out, buddy. Thank you for sticking around.
Despite all of these challenges. And, the fact that
there are no challenges, only opportunities.
D&D anyway, is just kind of sailing through this really challenging year has just been really, really heartening for me. So it's been great.
Liz, has it felt the same for you?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how amazing it is that we were.
Liz looks like a nice grandma. Like she would have cookies for you whenever time you come over, like cookies and then dice trays. Like here, here's the original i6 Ravenloft module.
Amazing experience to be able to.
Nice to see you, grandkids.
Very quickly from a world where we used to get together and play around a table physically to getting together and playing together.
She does have chair rail in her house though, so
I love that we have the technology.
It might need a little bit of updating.
Year, despite all of the hardships that this year has brought, it really has been a great year for playing D&D, and it's been a great year for just pushing forward this idea that we have a global community that can really come together and play D&D no matter what the conditions are.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, man, me too.
Yeah.
Dris Von Durn said I had a great time, dude. Thank you. Wells, Liz a freak.
It's just been this year of horrors that we all want to escape from, or just its enduring appeal.
Liz a lady in the streets and a freak in the bed. No, I can't talk about Liz like that. Come on. Gotta say that about Liz.
We're seeing things like that. How do you manage inviting new players in and making sure that they understand and that it's accessible, for newer players, while still maintaining that complexity, that kind of joy of mastering something that is a little bit more complicated, that does require a little bit of a time commitment? How do you balance that? Liz, obviously, working with products, I'll start with you.
Sure. So I think, so
ask Liz about the Great Down Moody.
Technology that is allowing us to hold events like D&D.
Ask Liz why she only releases 2 core books a year.
A great way to fuel acquisition for D&D because people are able to watch other people playing D&D, and I think it really demystifies the game for them. We also have some great acquisition products. We have the D&D starter set and the D&D essentials kit, which are the perfect.
I almost bought the starter set to give out on stream to somebody who'd never played before. And then I realized that I'm poor, and I didn't do it.
This cycle where you watch other people playing, you start to play, you want to get a little deeper, a little more involved,
and then you spend like $600 on Amazon to buy all the books,
ideas to get inspiration that you can bring to your own table,
and cards,
I think that
and models,
online gaming and stream games and events like D&D Celebration really help acquire new people by introducing them to this game and so that they can see firsthand what it's all about.
Ray, how about you? How do you find making that balance work?
Yeah, I echo what Liz said. D&D at its
big facts on that.
Simple game.
At its core, it's an extremely simple game.
Make up stories. That's really what it's all about. But one of the challenges, again, is somebody who's been designing.
How do we monetize stories?
One of the challenges has been.
There's always more books or cards to buy. Yes.
Explaining that.
Yeah, there is.
It turns out to be a little bit difficult to.
I can say this: don't buy Theros, okay? If you're gonna buy some stuff, don't buy Theros.
Simple. And as Liz said, now that people can, just simply turn to the internet, watch other people play. You see the light bulbs go on over their heads. You see that, like, oh yeah, I get it. This is sure those. I don't need to be scared by all those big books and all that stuff. It's actually pretty simple, and it's pretty easy and fun and accessible. And I think that's been a big part of the success we've had in recent years. The audience growing to much larger than it's ever
Theros.
been before.
Theros.
Becoming
Mystic
much
Odyssey
more
of
diverse
Theros.
than it's ever been before. I
Don't
think
buy
that's
Mystic
really
Odyssey
the
of
secret to
Theros.
it.
Like if you're going to buy some more
I think people
books,
can really
skip
see
that one. The
wow,
Greek
D&D is
Magic
storytelling.
Gathering
That's really
setting.
the key. You're getting together, you're telling stories together.
Mm-hmm.
And once people understand that that's really the core of Dungeons and Dragons, it doesn't seem so difficult to get into.
Definitely.
It's not like the old days when you had weapon speed.
We are a community that's becoming ever more diverse,
Or Thaco.
And that's something that we've had some big
That was hard to get
conversations in the
into.
community about this year, whether it's kind of diversity, whether it's
that one.
finding
Yep.
underrepresented demographics, whether it's working with people who perhaps felt
Nah,
excluded
hard
from
pass.
D&D. So how are you making changes?
I'm thinking of giving my
internally to
copy
kind of
away.
reflect
I'm
the
never
changing
going to use
diversity
it.
Of the D&D community. Ray, I'll start with you.
Yeah. So this mission of making D&D more welcoming, more inclusive, has actually been a primary design.
Tasha's next month. No, Tasha's not. Tasha's November 17th.
D&D, the 5th edition here. It was actually one of the key pillars, design pillars of D&D 5e. And if you look at our current products here, you can really see, like, just for instance, flip through and glance at the artwork, and you start to notice that, there was a lot of attention put on, making sure that the way we depict D&D, for instance, shows a broad range of peoples involved in these adventures and in these stories. What we've learned this year, of course, as so many of us throughout the world have learned in this tough year, is that that while our heart's in the right place, we just have to push a little harder and we have to go a little faster on some of this stuff. And so there are things that, I think
that's the one thing I would hope they would do would be to up their release schedule. Like, I'm okay.
Again, as we kind of understand where our fans are coming from.
That's my biggest thing with Magic the Gathering and D&D. And I guess it's probably like a good time to bring it up. It's like, I don't care that Magic the Gathering is coming over to D&D. And really, if you look at it, the Magic the Gathering books are not Magic the Gathering in D&D. They're basically Magic the Gathering play with the D20 system. And that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it's taking away from other things that D&D could be doing with their own IPs. And that's the thing that bothers me. I think if they up their release schedule, release more books, not saying they have to go back to the splat bloat and back to the days of the mid-'80s, but just a few more books a year, I wouldn't have a problem with them doing things like Theros and Ravnica. So
along those lines a little bit in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything coming later this year, you'll see those rules and as I said, those become more and more central to the D&D experience. So again, the changes begin in the rules themselves, but also in the way we create the products. So, we've created some new product categories that you'll be seeing in the coming years that we've designed specifically to make it easier for us to work with new writers, people we haven't worked with before, a broader cross-section of writers. And of course, that's going to make it much easier for us to bring more voices under the tent, as it were, and
under the tent.
Bring more voices to D&D. Let more people sort of guide the products and guide the storytelling. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah, I think our goal is always
she's got them red
for
beats.
anyone who picks up a D&D product to see themselves in that product, to feel like, hey, this is a game for me. This is something that I can see myself playing. I can see myself reflected in the product. And that's, work that is always ongoing. I don't think we'll ever be complete with that task. We're always trying to do better and to keep doing that more and more with every product.
Has anybody ever heard of the Great Del Moody?
Of course, nobody's perfect.
Raise your hand in chat if you ever heard of it.
You've had feedback.
You don't think those are beats?
But it does feel, to me at least,
They're neats.
that has been listened to. I've always
N-E-I-T-S.
It
Neats.
does feel like a community. It does feel like you can.
I think Lisa will rock some beats.
How
Liz, I'm sorry, not Lisa. Liz.
When people
Liz
do
rocks
reach out,
beats.
When there are, as I said, kind of these conversations, whether it's on social media or anywhere like that, what's happening internally when you hear criticisms, when you hear compliments, when you hear any kind of feedback?
Yeah, well, so first of all, of course, we monitor there are several, we like to think of...
Of course we pay attention to people complaining.
We describe what we do on D&D is we describe D&D as an ongoing conversation with our audience. And so there are several forums in which we interact with our audience. The big social.
I mean, they should probably start
forums
listening if that's the
you
case.
mentioned, conventions, hopefully one day again when some of these current events are behind us, and just various other ways we interact with the audience. We do listen to that feedback, and we are constantly making changes based on it. One of the things that not a lot of people realize is, the D&D products that are out there, they're regularly
book up on the
reprinted,
shelf.
they regularly go back to
Absolute
press,
Dark
and every time
Knight.
those products
Okay,
go
so it
back
looks
to
like a Batman book up there on the back of a
press,
shelf.
changes implemented in the products. And, and so when we collect this feedback, a recent example was in one of our more popular adventures,
She mentioned Curse of Strahd.
there's a character named Esmeralda. And Esmeralda,
again. All right, here we go.
Has a prosthetic leg, the character. And there was a paragraph or section in Curse of Strahd where we pointed out that, Esmeralda, she likes to hide her prosthetic leg because she doesn't want to appear weak to the other characters in the village or whatever. And, we received some feedback from fans about, disabilities aren't things that, you need to be ashamed of or you need to hide. And while, of course, I think our fans realize it was never our intention to offend in that way, we got that message, and we actually changed that. If you go back and look in Curse of Strahd today, that's all changed, and that section's gone. And so that's just one example. We do that sort of thing quite a bit. And, so again, that's that ongoing conversation that I talk about, that, we listen to the fans, we collect that feedback, we have systems internally for capturing.
Okay with that if that's what they want to do. And of course, that's fine. But to me, I don't think somebody's saying, I think it's a perfectly rational thing if a character who was a vampire hunter and spent a lot of time trying to conquest foes who lost a leg and then finds that something that they don't like about themselves. I don't think there's anything wrong with presenting that within the context of a monster hunter who is now like ashamed of that. To me, that's like character development. But hey, if they want to change it, that's fine. But I just don't see anything wrong with her being ashamed that she lost a leg. I don't, but it's whatever. It's not my stuff.
Get to go to conventions again. That's one of the best ways for us to really talk to our fans and see how they're playing D&D.
He'd jump off a bridge,
from them,
and then it would be the tiniest little splash when he entered the water.
I would also call out, by the way, just as perhaps an even broader example of this, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which we recently announced that'll be coming out.
You get some more info.
It's the first, major rules supplement for D&D in a couple of years. Almost all the rules that are appearing in that supplement, we put out to the public for public testing.
Right, a hollow fake leg, extra storage. Well, she still has the fake leg, but now she just puts it out proudly.
Has been through multiple rounds of let people try it, let people offer opinions.
You could drink out of that fake leg.
Send it back out. It's actually a fairly lengthy and fairly rigorous process. But again, I think that's part of the success story of this current era.
Keep looking at his name. I think it says Kip Winger.
We've really,
I don't know. Ray Winger. Winninger. Yeah.
Fans, getting the fans' input on almost every important thing we do.
It's good to get fans' input, but you can't let the lunatics run the asylum.
5th edition rule set, when we opened up an open play test so that fans could kick the tires, help us really determine how to make the best possible edition of D&D that we could. And we've carried that ethos of play testing and community feedback and really making sure that the community
Cap,
has
he might.
a voice in
Captain
the
Pennsylvania
creation of
says he will
products.
never become a halfling.
All of 5th edition, I
He
think,
might.
as Ray said,
You never know.
Tasha's Cauldron is probably one of the most dramatic examples of that after the core rules.
So what's the best way to make sure people are heard? Because obviously you have all these processes in place to make sure that, you're going out there and you're kind of finding that feedback. But if somebody does have an opinion and they respectfully want to share it, what do you want to hear? How should they be reaching out to
Email,
What's the best
Twitter.
way to make sure that if you've got,
Like, comment,
a
share.
opinion that you feel needs to be heard, that it does reach D&D.
Yeah. Well, so I would say an easy way is perhaps the easiest way is, as you said, the major social media channels.
Don't you put that voodoo on me, Ricky Bobby. Put that voodoo on me.
D&D on Twitter.
I am. I'm gonna body swap you with a halfling one day, and you're gonna love it.
We collect feedback through there. We'll occasionally interact with fans directly on social media. That's a great way to reach us. By the way, if you do shout out to us through social media and you don't get a direct response right there, that doesn't mean
Flaming arrow over the tower walls.
We're not considering what you have to say. As you can imagine, we have an awful lot of people sending us messages all the time, but that's an effective way. It definitely reaches us.
Fantastic.
Elle must be in Britain or something, because there's quite a amount of lag by the time he finishes talking until the time she starts talking.
Breaking into D&D. So obviously we had a fantastic panel earlier this week.
Minimum height of a halfling?
Specifically how
or
to
maximum?
break in, how to take that first step, get a foothold in your kind of D&D career. But once somebody
I wouldn't say a halfling. The minimum would be somewhere around 2 feet.
What's next internally? What happens
Like
inside
1'11" max, maybe.
Voices coming in, people who are
Anything other than that, you're looking at like a sprite.
So I mentioned before that, we're in the process of creating...
I'm a true barbarian. I like those halflings. You're not letting this go, are you, Cap?
Over the next
Not letting it go.
Years. They're specifically designed to make it easier for us to work with those people who are just breaking into D&D, just breaking into game design or art and taking their first few steps there. So, what we're doing internally is we're putting in service these products. We're starting to put a much higher premium on, watching places like the DMs Guild, for instance, the panel we had this weekend.
I just
about,
can't.
How to get yourself
How small?
on the DMs Guild. We watch
right around 2 feet, I think.
Like that. We're always looking for
the DMs Guild is like
sticking out a little bit.
The D&D's version of Bethesda's modding community. So basically, like, people go on there, put their own stuff on the DMs Guild. It gets printed and sold under the banner of Dungeons and Dragons, but not directly by Dungeons and Dragons. So anybody can get stuff onto the DMs Guild. It's actually really awesome. But I can imagine that they troll the DMs Guild all the time for the really good stuff. Then they take it, offer them some money for it, co-opt it, and probably release it as some sort of official material. That's just a guess.
And the next step along the journey then is to get those people and pull them into our pool of regular D&D, freelance writers and artists.
Right.
We use all the time on our major books.
I would love to be a freelance writer for Dungeons and Dragons.
Our design and art staff
or a paid writer.
They typically come from our more prolific freelancers. So that's what we think the journey looks like.
And these anthology products that Ray is referencing, where we really get to showcase many voices, they're great for those up-and-coming
Cap, I
writers
just can't.
are making that leap from being hobbyists to professionals. But they're also great products for players because they offer a variety of shorter adventures so that players who are looking.
I used to do that all the time. They used to put out short adventures.
Something less than a multi-month or year campaign, but
yeah.
A shorter adventure.
They were just called modules.
Or just a broader array of adventure types that they can run folks through. These anthology products are really great for that. So you can expect to see more of that.
Anthology projects. Yeah, like when they used to do stuff like that.
When there are new voices joining, it kind of touches on the balance that I mentioned earlier, which is how do you make sure that they are coming in with kind of fresh ideas and the new perspectives that you're looking for when you do look outside?
Meaning, how are they going to conform? So, okay, okay, what's her name has a D&D comic coming out next month. Yeah, there's 2 of them coming out actually next month.
With a huge
what's her name? I mean, I gotta look it up.
So how do you,
They've got
how
the
do
Stranger
people
Things
cope with that? I
comic is
imagine
coming
it's
out,
just
and then the one
horrible
about the
pleasure when they
Icewind
first
Dale
arrive.
kids is coming out next month too. I think
It
they're both
is-
premiering in
it-
October.
Pressure,
And it's
for
the
sure.
one
I mean,
comic
again,
about
D&D
the Stranger
obviously
Things
has a
kids
very long
playing
legacy.
D&D,
You know,
and it's their
premiering
D&D
its 50th
characters in
year.
comic book form. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
so that's
Oh,
definitely
what's
true.
her name?
I think the way we try to make
Yes.
sure that
Oz
you know,
Mendez
we're
and
finding
Amy
the
something.
best
Yes.
material,
I can
we're
look it up real quick,
finding,
but yeah.
you know, people who genuinely have something
You gonna
to
review them,
say,
Trin? When they come
is
out? You gonna take a look
we
at
are
them?
starting to, within the studio, the number of people in the studio who we actually
Because I'm not
sign
sold
up
on them
for
from what I've
that
seen
sort
so
of
far.
stuff is growing.
But that's
So,
just me.
you know, the tactic that I think we're employing to try to do our best there is, instead of it just being myself or Liz or, you know, a couple of folks who, you know, look at things like DM's Guild or look at some of the other places where aspiring game designers hang out, you know,
Mining
we're
for
now
content.
inside the studio starting to make that more and more a part of almost everyone's job. So a large cross section of people
Cool.
in the studio are on the hunt for talent.
Q,
And that
I'll be
means,
watching.
you know, we're gonna.
You want me to come on and rip it? I will.
We're gonna see, you know, a broader, more exposure. To,
I don't think it's going to be very
newer
good.
stuff, newer
I mean,
voices
I
out
have
there
my
that those
opinions,
odds
but
increase dramatically that way.
I don't know about it.
And I also think we try to take some of that kind of first time
But
pressure
I'm
off
open.
of folks is just the people in the studio. We have an incredibly supportive and friendly and funny group of people working on D&D, and that's something that we hear time and time again from people who, you know, after they work with us for the first time, they say, "Wow, you guys are great to work with. You're so much fun."
There are
You know,
some Rick and
this has
Morty
been,
versus
you know,
Dungeons
we've
and
been
Dragons
really
comics. I still yet to
supportive of
read
one
them.
another, and certainly,
But that's two
supportive
great
of
tastes that
those
taste
folks.
great together.
Yep. And I mentioned earlier that, you know, part
Wells,
of
did you get the hardcover Rick and Morty book
technology products we've been talking about,
that came with
you know,
the
part
comics?
of the strategy
It'd be
there
fun,
is to
Jason.
set
Yeah,
aside
it'd be fun.
more time for our friendly staff members to spend more time with those new writers, those new artists. You know, we view that program. It's not just about producing a product at the end of the day. It's also about, you know, growing some of these you know, people who are taking their first steps into the industry, and so we're investing a lot in that.
Now I'm scared to ask this because I feel like I'm going to ruin the magic for myself.
Oh, don't be
And
scared,
I'm
El.
really upset if there aren't actually dragons involved, but
What?
what is it like day to day in the studio? Because you've mentioned it, you've made it sound.
Oh, it's
amazing.
probably boring
And
as hell
obviously
day to day.
That's one of the things that you think about. What could it be like to actually have a job where you do Dungeons and Dragons every day? So
It's probably not. It's probably like anything else. When you like,
So we
when
do
you work
actually
in a
have an
field, no
office
matter how
dragon.
fun that
Her
field
name
is,
Mitzi,
it's always
and
work.
she lives in the
And you're
lobby
not
of
going to
the
be
building.
like,
Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we haven't been working in the office lately. So Mitzi has been guarding things.
they're
all
not
by herself.
hardcover,
But
but
that's one
they're
of
the
first
paperbacks
things
out of the whole
when somebody
comic
comes to
series.
our office, one of the first things
Yeah,
we
so there's
always
the
do
comics, but
is
they
to
actually
introduce
have a Rick and Morty
Mitzi.
hardcover
She's amazing.
adaptation
And then,
of
you know,
Dungeons
I
and
mean, I
Dragons.
think
I'll have to
we
find it.
have a very collaborative,
I'll take a look.
Work environment.
But they do have a
We
Rick and
a
Morty
big
hardcover
common
D&D
space where
book.
people hang out. They, you know, talk over issues or work through ideas together, sitting in our big common area. We have a large work table where people can go through proofs for products together. So we really kind of encourage that very collaborative work. And when we're in the office, we have a lot of regular lunches because it's just a good time to unplug and
We have a
get
lot of
together
regular
over a
lunches.
meal
No
and
fogwa
just kind of
or
relax and get to know each
filet
other.
mignon. Just a lot of regular lunches, a lot of ham and
So,
cheese,
you
a
know,
lot of peanut butter and
there's
jelly.
a lot of hard work, but there's also, we try to really offset that with a lot of fun social experiences too.
Yeah, I have to say, El, you know, I'm a
Who's the
relatively
toxic
newcomer
man
to
baby
D&D
at
because
Second
I've
Street?
only been in this role for a year, but the job is absolutely as fun as you'd think it is. It's just
Death Clock.
incredible.
Happy birthday.
The experience that
Happy
I've
Death
had
Day.
is I frequently find myself.
I haven't
you know,
watched Death
I'll
Clock
have a
in
meeting
forever.
With our designers at 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And it's not uncommon that we'll look up and it's 9 o'clock at night. We've just spent the last 4 hours talking about dragons or talking about, you know, all kinds of things. That's pretty much what my days are. You know, so it is. It's just incredible working with all these talented people, and it's my dream job. So I get it.
I mean,
All right, it wasn't rude for me.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do an
You know,
office job
I
associated
recently
with D&D.
celebrated
I had to be
25
like a
years
play
with
tester or something.
Provoke,
If I could
so
get a
that tells you
dream job
something
at Dungeons
about,
and Dragons, it would
you know,
probably be
the staying
as
power
a
of
on the
of
creative side
Wizards as a
and
company,
as
and
maybe a
certainly
play
of Dungeons
tester.
and Dragons
If I
as
could make a living play testing
it's
material, that would be
wonderful. And
awesome.
like Ray said, it really is a dream job.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. I was so scared that you'd be like, it's really mundane, but no, how could it be? It's D&D. I'm very happy.
She's trying.
So I promised earlier I was going to talk the future of D&D. So I've got to get onto it. I've got questions I want answered. So first up, what's next for D&D after a
Oof,
huge, massive
let's see
year
that.
like this? You know, where do you go next?
Yeah, where do we go next? So there's a few things that I think fans will see coming up in the next couple of years. One is kind of a renewed emphasis on settings. So, you know, this past year, for instance, we had
Renewed
Sports
emphasis
Guide
on
Wild,
settings.
which is the setting.
Please
that's
don't say
very
Magic the
popular,
Gathering.
Critical Role show is set in. We also had Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which is the worlds our colleagues over on the Magic the Gathering team built. We're gonna try to stretch the boundaries of D&D by putting more settings out there, more places where you can set your own adventures.
But there's so many settings already that you need to re-explore.
I know I get this question all the time. What about those old classic
Here we go.
D&D settings?
All right, let's see what he says.
When are you bringing those back? We're working on several of those. In fact, I can tell you right now, there are 3 of the old settings that we're working on right now that you'll be seeing coming up here in the next year or two, including some that the fans have been asking for a very long time.
Dark Sun.
So you'll see that. We talked a little bit about the anthology products, the things that we're putting on schedule that are going to allow us to work with, more newcomers and
Oh, that's crazy
diversified
news.
voices
That's
behind
crazy.
D&D. That's
3
another major
settings.
initiative.
So anybody want to take a bet in
All
chat
out
what those
is
3 settings are
some
going to be?
products in development that what we're really trying to do is
Greyhawk,
stretch
Ravenloft,
stretch what a D&D
and
product
Dark
can
Sun.
be. Stretch what a D&D
What do you guys think in chat? If there are 3 old settings that they're going to be back, based on what they released thus far, what settings do you think they're going to be? Let me know in chat.
Never really been covered before in D&D. I think those are 3 of the big initiatives that are underway right now that we're working on.
Yeah, and I think we're really exploring a lot of products that don't just come between.
No,
book
EP.
covers.
No.
We're looking at more ways.
What is
to
EP?
deliver
Electrum
great
pieces?
accessories that
Seriously?
Really, amp up your experience at the table. That
Experience points?
immersive,
What
that
EP,
make it
Cap?
easier to run your game. That
Eberron
just
Place?
make it even more
EP doesn't.
exciting
It doesn't.
and
you know.
enhance your ability to tell great stories at the table. So, much of our line is made up of books, but I think you'll see more and more product from us that isn't just a traditional RPG book. I also have to say that some of the most spirited conversations that we have within the team are around some of those old settings and which ones are we going to bring back first.
Mystara. Bring
There's
back
a lot of good
Mystara.
debate around that.
Go right to Mr. Welch. He already has it finished.
Right? You're just going to tell me exactly what they are.
No, that's part of the fun.
Soon.
You gotta
I mean,
wait.
I'm the host. I don't even get to know. This is very unfair. So, Liz, you mentioned new products. So, what's the process of coming up with something new?
All right, that's
As I
getting
said,
clipped out.
We've got a vocal community. We've got a passionate community. They like what they like. They don't like what they don't. So, where do you begin when you start off thinking, we need something
Electronium piece.
So a lot of
Electrum
Electrum
cap. Electrum
an
piece.
idea that a team member has, or an idea that we hear from a fan.
Guys, I gotta pee. I'm like, my back teeth are floating.
At coming up with cool
They're
ways
seriously.
to
I don't want to step away
approach
from this, but I
tabletop
really have to pee.
So,
Give me 1 second. When I come back, I want a full report. Let me know what she says.
A person who kind of has this concept, we start kicking that concept around, fleshing it out a little bit more, until it becomes kind of an official product idea. And that product idea at that point is still pretty loose. But we talk about, well, what kind of player is this product for? What purpose does it serve at the gaming table? So that we kind of understand, is this really meeting a need out there? And then when we decide, yeah, I think this really meets a need that's currently unmet, or it makes something easier for players, that's when we get deeper into, all right, what does this exactly look like? And we start to really put flesh on the bones of the idea, and working with our production team, talking about materials, working with our art directors and graphic designers, talking about what should this look like, and then of course our game designers. Let's make sure that this is really a great addition to the game. So all of those disciplines come together. We put together a cross-functional strike team that works on that product, and makes sure that all of those pieces come together, so that we can actually put that product on the schedule. So we pin it to a date. We say, okay, this product is going to come out in whatever it is, June of 2022. And then we just work toward that. We build schedules so that everybody has time to do what they need to do, so that we can make the product as great as it possibly can be.
Ray, what's the process like for you?
For me, I think the most interesting part of the process for me, as I said, is as an old school D&D designer, is trying to resist the urge to jump in and want to work on every one of these things myself. That's kind of my personal challenge and that part of the process. I would also say that the piece of the process that I particularly enjoy is early on, when we've got a new product that is coming through the pipeline, or something that we're working on. One of the early stages is concept art. So for instance, we have a very talented artist, Sean Wood, who's on our staff. We also use outside concept artists. And so when you've got that initial kind of idea for what a product might be, early on, one of the first things you do is you sit down with artists, and they just start drawing and getting ideas down on paper. And there's lots of creative collaboration and back and forth. And that's just for me, that's just such a fun part of the process. Taking these vague ideas that you have in your head, and watching watching a talented artist actually make it something real on a piece of paper. We often concentrate on the visuals first, and kind of make sure that the product, the story we want to tell, is anchored in some really strong visuals. And I personally enjoy that phase.
That's actually one of the things that
No, carry on.
It's one of the things that I miss most about being in the office is our concept art wall. We have a big wall where, when a product is sort of being worked on, and that process that Ray just described is active, and artists and concept artists are just pinning things to that wall, and you can kind of see how the ideas evolve and how they come together. And that's a great way to spend some time just gazing at that concept art wall, and imagining what's going to come out of that.
So what else gets you really excited about working at D&D? What are the kind of plans for the next year, for the next 5 years, next 10 years, that for you, make you really, really excited to do what you do, to work on D&D?
Yeah, well, for me, I love this game. This game has been a part of my life for a very, very long time, since I was a very young boy. And not only do I enjoy playing it, but I actually truly in my heart believe it's a force for good in the world. I mean, I think of all the things it's done for me, how it's helped me make almost all of my lifelong friendships, how it taught me so many things as a young boy that went on to serve me so well. That so for me, the thing that I'm most excited about, and one of the key priorities for the studio is, as we sort of hinted at here, expanding the reach of that game, helping more and more people find it. For me, that's not just a job; it's almost like a mission. I'm very passionate about it. And so, coming up here over the next 3 to 5 years, as you say, I think one of the things that you're going to see from D&D is,
All right. Back, guys. Sorry.
We refer to as our core fans, the people who buy our big, thick books, and those books that I love to break
thick
open
with a
and
double
I love to
C.
sit down and design myself. But I think you're going to see another wave of products that's really designed for people who are interested in D&D, who are interested in that kind of group storytelling experience, but just don't have the time or the inclination to dive as deep into the rules or dive as deep into the material
like
as,
D&D Light.
our products often require. I think you'll see a new wave of products that are
That's
aimed
interesting.
at a more casual D&D player, a more mainstream D&D player. And I'm very excited about that because, again, I think there's a real opportunity for this game to find, an even larger audience, honestly.
Yeah, I think one of the most rewarding things for me, and Ray said this very eloquently, is to see how D&D really enriches people's lives, and to hear from our fans.
That's really interesting.
They
So
found their tribe through this game. They found the people that they really want to spend time with, and the people who support them and are there for them. And people learn so much from playing D&D, whether it's problem-solving skills, a love of reading, social skills. D&D
love of
isn't
writing,
just,
love of creating.
a fun game that so many of us love, but it's also
immersive
used in
activity.
recreational therapy for kids with autism, for people recovering from addiction issues. There's all kinds of ways that D&D can really help people through a rough time in their lives. And usually what we see is when
It's helped us through coronavirus, that's for sure. I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't see the C word.
And that's something that I think is so rewarding for all of us who work on D&D, is knowing that we're not just making any old product. We're not even just making a game. We're making something that is really such a rich part of people's lives, that's woven through their relationships and through their experiences.
There's one other similar point that I'd make, which is
he just needs to drop a name.
Love, the stories that we tell and the products that we create and so forth. Obviously,
Driss, if they bring Blackmore back, they got to bring Mystara back, considering Blackmore is like the roots of Mystara.
Taking the game and making it your own and creating your own stories, creating your own worlds, your own settings. That's something that, again, I think we're going to veer back into a little bit. I think you'll see more products aimed at helping people do that.
Like creation kits?
Make D&D their own. And, again, thinking of D&D as this force for good in the world, something you hear a lot these days, for instance, is how many people, in Hollywood, how many famous Hollywood writers or producers or whatnot are out there today telling the story about how it was D&D that taught them to be creative, that taught them to take their.
I can think of a few of them. I can think of a few of them.
Learning to create, learning to tell stories, learning to create characters, and that's an aspect of the game that I think we're going to push a little harder in the years ahead.
I love that. I mean, for me, genuinely. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I was about to say. For me, one of the reasons I'm a host is genuinely because my other obnoxious theatre kid friends got me into D&D. So I genuinely don't think I'd be here without it, so I agree.
I think it's a great training ground for anybody who wants to pursue a creative field.
Absolutely.
So I've got to sneak in one question that is, well, it's definitely not just for me, but I really need to ask it. I'm also a huge lifelong Magic nerd. And obviously, we're having a big crossover.
Lost me.
I'm so happy about it. So, I mean, can I just say, tell me everything? How did it happen? Tell me everything I need to know.
It was a long time in the making, that's for sure. Wizards of the Coast bought TSR and acquired Dungeons and Dragons more than 2 decades ago, and it's finally coming to fruition. Something that I think people have talked about and looked forward to for a long time. Beyond that, I don't want to spoil anything.
So, for those of you who don't know, they recently announced that Magic the Gathering is coming out with a set that focuses on Dungeons and Dragons characters. So we're actually, I mean, if you're a Magic the Gathering fan, they're gonna release a base set that drags in the world of Dungeons and Dragons into Magic the Gathering, rather than what's been happening lately. Magic the Gathering is being forced upon Dungeons and Dragons. So it's kind of like it's a back and forth now at this point.
setting book on their Ravnica world, on the Theros world. There's some other things that we're looking at along those lines.
No, no more. No more. Come on.
Just
enough.
Just sort of fell into collaborating with each other, and it's just been such a great process.
Because y'all like money.
It's mushroomed, and I think
Shrooms.
Both ways, you'll probably see more things down the road.
But Magic the Gathering is basically Uno for geeks, man. It's different. The games are different.
So I guess actually we're kind of coming to the end of this panel. I snuck in my magic question. I'm all good. But I wanted to kind of finish up by just saying, obviously I touched on what you're excited about, what you're looking forward to. But what should the community be excited about?
Yes, what should we be excited about?
Should they go away thinking, okay, I can't wait for this, whether it's, kind of an enduring theme of D&D, something that is just a new ethos, or whether it is kind of specifically products.
No, come on. No, right at the end. Come on.
Things they can
Thank you.
go out and get their hands on.
Well, I'd start by saying, first, the community should be excited by the fact that there are more people playing D&D in more ways than ever before. So, back in my age, when I was coming up as a young D&D fan, actually finding a group to play D&D with was a little bit of a challenge, and that's becoming easier and easier. Not just, again, because
if you didn't play with a close group of friends, it was really hard to find people to play with.
The pandemic, that D&D actually adapts remarkably well to remote play. Sitting around and playing D&D over web cameras and that sort of thing actually
it works well as long as you have a stable connection. Thank you, Zoom.
That makes it even easier to find people to game with and people to play with. So that's the first thing that I'd call out. And then in terms of like the products themselves, what people should be excited about, later this year, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Yes, super excited.
It's really only the second major rules supplement to D&D here in the whole of the 5th edition era. We haven't done anything like it in years. It's just filled with all kinds of new fodder for your games, cool new types of characters you can play, cool new things you can do. It's a real special book, and that's going to show up on people's tables. Just its ability to elevate the game yet a few notches more. And then looking forward,
what else? What's after that?
Is, that increased emphasis on settings and bringing back some of those great old settings and giving players the tools they need to take D&D to new places.
That makes the Dungeon Master happy. Emphasis on old settings. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You in the chat, you heard it here first.
Had this past weekend. The Yawning Portal is an incredible tool for matching players and Dungeon Masters on virtual tables, and it's something that you can expect to see a lot more from us, because I think as we saw this weekend, it's an amazing way for people to find games, whether they're signing up with friends that they've gamed with before, or they're meeting brand new people at a table where they don't know anyone. The Yawning Portal is a great way to find a game and to be able to play. So we're really excited to be able to do more and more of that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you.
Lisa, you know what, Lisa? You might be right. They have been clamoring for Spelljammer for quite some time. They said 3. Did you catch all of it? They said there's about 3 that they're 3 classic settings that they're really exploring. Greyhawk. Oh, well, let's I'll get to it in a second. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything else they want to drop.
I'm almost at that point, because we're just going to take a little break. We will be right back, and then I'm going to wrap up this show and dive into bed. See you soon.
You've earned it. Bye-bye.
So, yeah. You heard it here, folks. They're going to go...
well, I have to say...
Let's see. Let's listen to Elle's final thoughts, and I'll get into that in a second.
And I hope that you are all currently feverishly trying to work out those new, old settings. I promised you we were going to have some exciting stuff in that final panel to round out the weekend. I can't believe it. We are finished. We are at the end of D&D Celebration 2020. It has been
what? I don't understand the question, Cap.
Fantastic weekend. We have had so much great content. The games have been absolutely fantastic.
Those weren't.
As I mentioned,
those were designers, like the people that work for Wizards of the Coast.
Over the next few days, we are going to work non-stop at getting them all up for you. So if you missed any of them, You can watch them. They'll be on YouTube. They'll be on Twitch. You'll be able to catch up with some of the hilarious live play that we've had over the weekend. And of course, we've also had some really interesting panels. So just going to highlight a few. They were all fantastic, but some that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to included a panel on becoming a D&D designer. Lots and lots of you asked questions about that. I know it was super informative, really, really useful for anybody.
All of which people, the people that were just on there?
Steps, particularly if you've been inspired.
No, those people that they don't play. They make they make the games or decide what gets made. Yeah.
Brilliant, really, really clear to follow. Loads of practical tips, so I have to recommend that one. We also had a great deep dive into planning and building an accessible dungeon. So this was actually a real-time.
Kev says I design football plays and I also like to play that. Yeah, but you're not a professional.
How to make your table accessible to everybody, whether they're new, whether they're veterans, making sure that your table feels warm and welcoming for anybody who sits down and joins your party. If you wanted the resources for that, they mentioned loads and loads of great resources. Go to Jennifer's Twitter. They're all on there. She's got a really great doc that has all the resources for, the practical tips for how you can actively do what they did in 1 hour. It was incredible. So do catch up on that if you didn't see it. We also had a brilliant panel from the Asians Represent podcast. They were talking about how we can rework how we look at Asian culture in D&D.
No, you're not a professional football player.
That can feel controversial.
I don't think so.
Feel like it kind of raises your hackles, but
you're a professional football player watcher.
It's a panel for you. It was a welcoming space. It was open. It was about being curious and caring and about making D&D as welcoming as it can be. I thought they were absolutely brilliant. I'd love for more people to watch it and kind of talk about it online. Let's start a conversation there. So those are some of the fantastic panels that we've had this weekend. I have absolutely
It's been a weekend.
I hope that you did too. Please share with us your favorite moments, anything that you really love.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, share with us your favorite moments from this weekend.
D&D Celebration 2020. Find us on Twitter. Do share your favorite moments because it was all
right, Elle, wrap it up.
It was all about us having a great weekend together. So I want to know what you loved as much as I did. So let's quickly recap some of the things we've been
more recap
this weekend. Starting off with Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. So, of course, this is our latest adventure. We had a really great panel, which I shouldn't say because I hosted it, but it was nothing to do with me. Jeremy Crawford, Chris Perkins, they came and talked all about this adventure, all about what it'll offer you, why it's a really exciting new take on a familiar location. And, of course, it is available now, so you can go and get stuck in.
There's part of me that feels like I should have bought the variant cover.
For you to do so, you can get that gorgeous alternate art cover, which I am just completely.
I don't know. I like the
then, of course,
I like the standard covers.
The biggest news: Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
That one I'm definitely buying the regular cover. I'm not a big fan of the variant.
Weekend again came up in the Dungeons and Designers panel. We touched on it a little bit earlier in the panel that we just had inside the D&D studio, but obviously this is such a big deal. I hope that this weekend has kind of given you a little sneak, a little taste of just how
there's some cool stuff in there.
For how you play. There's so much in here. It is so exciting. So I'm thrilled that we've been able to kind of dive into it this weekend. And of course,
I made the playoff 2 nights ago. What? It costs $30 more for the variant cover. Oh, online?
17th. You can go
on
Amazon.
Amazon?
And again, 2 gorgeous covers, including
No, there's no extras. No.
Which, again, I'm in love with. They're all so beautiful. I'm going to end up getting 2 copies of all of these books.
Nope.
I know it.
Too much money.
Plus, this weekend, I can't forget that we were raising money for Extra Life, which made everything feel just that little bit more special. So Extra Life, if you aren't familiar, raise money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And at the moment, they have a COVID fund. They are in desperate need, so this couldn't have been better timing. And if you want to look good and do good,
I recommend
apparel.
everybody go to Extra Life, get the 3 kobolds in a parka. Parka uniform. Uniform. I said uniform.
You can look good, feel good, do good. Please do pick it up. It's absolutely gorgeous. And of course, I have to just do another quick plug for Sirenscape. I love them. They've been providing our immersion all weekend. So if you've enjoyed any of the kind of soundscapes that we've had,
Sirenscape. Oh, okay. Sounds. Okay.
Sirenscape. And if you were thinking, oh my God, D&D.
Yes. Support your local game stores, y'all. That's where I bought this.
What Sirenscape is. sound design app. You can
I
get
went
it
and
at home.
purchased
You
mine
can use
at
it in
my
your home.
local
It
game
is
store.
so
I go there once a
immersive. When
week.
they say immersion provided by Sirenscape, not just a slogan. Genuinely,
Bought
for
that
me,
there.
it's been fantastic in
Bought
the
this
games that I've been
there.
a part of, so I
Bought this
hugely
there. Bought the
recommend
dice
it.
there.
It's
I stop in once a
absolutely
week at my
brilliant
local
to have
game
a
store,
huge
even if I only spend like 10, 15 bucks.
I guess that's it.
Stop there every week.
I don't want to go. I feel like I need to just fill for like another 6 hours, so maybe they
So-
just leave me on air and we can play more. And we can
Ella's
hang out
pretty
more.
much done.
Genuinely, all that's left to do is to say a massive thank you to everybody who has been involved.
So we're going to cut it there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. We are done. Ah! Oh, man. That is it. That is a wrap for Dungeons and Dragons. We're going to go to the, where are we going? We're going to the library here. Where I'm going to hang out. No, we're going to go to the library. We're going to the library. The library within the library. Oh, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. So ends. Yeah, I do. It's not near the pizza joint anymore. They moved. They're Critical Hit Games is. Oh yeah. It is near the pizza joint. Yeah. Yep. That's it. Critical Hit Games. So ends our coverage of D&D Celebration 2020. We are out. We live streamed on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'd like to thank everybody who showed up. You know who you are, but most importantly, I'd like to thank my closest buddy in the whole world, Paul, as I've known since I was 2 years old. I'd like to thank Captain Pennsylvania, Lisa, Gray, Mike Porter, Danny Orange, Whiskey Steve, and of course, my wonderful executive producer, Wu-Tang Wells. I couldn't have done it without you guys. It was extremely fun. I just want to touch on one thing before we leave. Lisa mentioned Spelljammer confirmed. I'm going to call it now. The 3 setting books we see are going to be Spelljammer. Thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. Are going to be Greyhawk, because we already have a couple names dropped in Greyhawk. And it's going to be a Ravenloft expansion. We're going to get more Ravenloft stuff. And that hurts my heart. That hurts my heart. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you, everybody, for coming out. I'm going to put a thank you video up. Be sure to drop a comment in the thank you video, what you liked, what you didn't like. And then we're going to give the dice away. Thanks for everybody for making this possible. I'd like to also thank my wife and my kids for dealing with my absence this weekend. It's been real fun. I mean, it hasn't been fun for them, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. 100 subs. We're going to give this away. Be sure to check out our new digs this Thursday at 8 Eastern is when the new show's coming up. I'm going to do a wrap-up video for this. I'm going to let you guys get out of here. It's 9:56. Everybody have a good night, Lisa. Thanks to Lisa, too. I don't know if I mentioned your name, but thanks to Lisa. And as I always like to say, in the game of life, may you always roll with advantage. And I'll catch you all in the next live stream or video. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks so much. Good night, everyone. Hasta la vista, babies.